Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Murdoch DeFi YouTube channel. And in today's video, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about, just like we did last week. So a lot of stuff has been going on in crypto and DeFi. As I'm sure you are all aware of the happenings on FTX. I myself, if I could talk a little bit about FTX real quick, before we jump into any of the other projects, I myself was using the Shiny Jackal or tradingbots.me over on the FTX exchange. So unfortunately, I have about $30,000 of funds locked in there. So absolutely wrecked by that. But we will see how that continues to unfold. There's a lot of talks about all the things going on that have been going on behind the scenes, and all this information about Sam Bankman-Fried is coming to light, and all this other stuff, right? But I don't hear anything talking about a real solution. So still waiting on that and trying to trod through a bunch of the drama. And I'm sure, crypto Twitter, it's hard to determine what's actual factual information and what's misinformation, right? So trying to do my best to wade through that and see if they can come up with a solution to hopefully give investors their money back. However, I know, like many things in crypto and DeFi, that's probably very unlikely, which leads me to Stablefund. Stablefund is still yet to pay out my refund. I know that they've paused refunds for a little bit. They just came out recently with an amazing announcement that they have proof of their Stablefund debit card. It's complete horseshit, and it amazes me that they would still press on and post that shit when people are still nobody for the most part has their refunds yet. So absolutely insane. I know that they've shut down the chats, so you can't even go in and talk in their Telegram anymore. So who knows what will come of that? Who knows if they're going to end up actually refunding people? But that's just another section of my portfolio that I've kind of written off. And sweet, if we end up getting refunds, then all is well. However, it's probably highly unlikely that we don't. And that's just the way that I'm preparing myself. So that way, when they come out and say that my hopes aren't too high. So hopefully they do end up giving that refund, though. So I can take those funds. I'm sure that everybody else wants a refund as well, and put them into different projects, right? So not much news on the stable front street, but real quick before we get into the next couple, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. A couple new projects that I recently got into, a couple updates with other projects. But first, I want to go ahead and pick the winner from last video and do that quick little $50 BUSD giveaway. All right, so I did go ahead and copy this URL already. We're going to filter duplicate and then filter by OX and 11. We'll go ahead and pull these comments. So only 13 people entered into this drawing. So chances are pretty high that you are able to win one of these giveaways. If you want to enter in today's giveaway, all you have to do is like the video, comment down below, make sure to leave your MetaMask wallet or, let's go ahead and pull this. And Justinas, congrats, man. You won the $50 BUSD giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and send that out right now. Just unlock my ledger. All right. Go ahead and paste this wallet address in here. Boom, 50 BUSD giveaway. All right. Just confirming that on the Ledger wallet. I don't know. I had some issues with my Ledger wallet earlier on this week. And I know that a couple other people did as well. So kind of interesting. Now, let's go ahead and hop into it. The next project I want to talk about, this is a new one, and I've watched a couple of videos on this, and I'm curious to see what everybody else's opinion is. This project is called Uniqo, and I think that a bunch of people have kind of compared this to Optimus. So what I want to do is briefly go through or like give a quick overview of what this project entails and if I'm going to be jumping in or not and my kind of thoughts on it. So we'll jump right into the white paper here. So essentially this project is launching, I believe, on Friday. It's offering a 1% daily interest. And I think that's why a lot of people were kind of comparing it to Optimus. However, it's actually a lot different than Optimus at first sight, right? So when we look at the actual tokenomics here, you see 1 billion unique tokens supply. Token launch, there is a fair launch again. I think it's launching on Friday. However, we're getting back into the world of buys and sell tax, right? So you have a 12% buy tax, 15% sell tax. So, you're talking like 27%. Like this token has to go up 27% for you to, well, I mean, if you're just playing it that way. But if you buy in, the price stays the same, exactly the same. You're looking at 27 days to be able to get out and not have to worry about losing any money. Granted, that is projecting that the price stays the same. I do know that they are limiting the amount of tokens that you'll be able to sell. Let me find that information real quick. So here you can see that the maximum DTP ratio, and that stands for daily take profit, is 1%. So you can only claim 1% per day or be able to cash out 1% per day. So for me, with all this implemented into the actual contract, with all the taxation within the buys and sell structures, there's a 35% transfer tax, all these things. For me, this is something that is an obvious no for me, especially when we talk about okay, well, sources of revenue and things like that. Like, how is all that kind of stuff going to be coming out and unfolding into the future? So for me, it makes more sense, and this is just for me, and I think that, I mean, we'll get into some of these things when we talk specifically about Optimus, but for me, this is just too many hoops that I need to jump through. So I would rather just put my money in Optimus, because at the end of the day, I can buy and sell and trade whenever I would like. On the Optimus side of things, I don't have to worry about big buy tax, big sell tax, transfer tax, or anything like that, being able to only claim a certain amount per day. So for me, there's just too many restrictions on Uniqo for me to actively invest in it. However, I do understand that a lot of people like to diversify and put a little bit of money into everything that they have. However, for me, it's a no-go. And also the fact that, when you get into new projects, especially early on, like right at launch, they're inherently more risky than if a project has been around for some time and has kind of proved itself. Granted, those are very few and far between nowadays. There's maybe only a handful of projects that have been around for 6 months that are still actively going in the bear market. So that's always stuff to keep in mind as well, right? Like, this is just as much as a gamble, in my opinion, as some of the other ROI dApps that are out there. But again, that's just my opinion. If this is something that is interesting to you, just make sure you do all your research. Just know inherently it's risky. For myself, I wouldn't recommend jumping in, just because there's so many restrictions and your money gets locked up. You're only able to claim 1% per day. And because of that, it's not something for me. So if it is something for you, that's cool too. But moving on, let's go ahead and talk about Optimus. So let me go ahead and switch my wallet real quick so I can pull up the dashboard. All right, here we go. So currently, my current holdings of Optimus is 10,541 OPT3 that I currently have in my wallet, earning about $100 a day or so, $3,700 per month. So it's still something that is performing well. Now, I know that there was a lot of fun. I didn't even talk about Optimus in my last video, where I kind of lump all these projects into one video because it's easier for me to do. especially when I have time to just sit down and talk about a bunch of stuff and be able to record a quick video. Now, there was a shit ton of FUD as it pertains to Optimus. And the takeaway for me is that I'm in crypto and DeFi to make money and not to join a religion. And whenever I see, I mean, clearly there's attacks, like FUD attacks from people who have malicious intent. And there is a very fine line between people just asking questions because they want the proper information. And I believe that those lines get muddied quite often, not just in Optimus, but in things like Drip or in Horde or any of these types of projects that have been around for a while, and people are starting to understand how they work and want a little bit more information on the actual protocol. Now, Optimus, their team, they did an AMA with James Pelton towards the, I believe on Monday, right? So today when I'm recording this is Thursday. But they did the AMA on Monday and they were able to address some things. But I feel like it was a little bit lackluster. That's my opinion. So the big announcement that they had was their partnership with Truth Seekers. And essentially they're going to be having a dashboard where they can watch the specific wallets that the Optimus team has control over to show that the actual protocol is able to generate revenue to keep itself afloat, right? While that's good, I know that there's still a lot of people that have concerns about like, okay, well, are these bots actually functioning? They did mention that they're going to be creating some kind of type of video content to put up on YouTube to show people like actively the bots live trading. But I do understand that like it's not like the bots are always in a position, right? So the bots are looking at specific pairs that they're trading and looking at specific times to enter and exit trades. So it's like kind of like one of those things that has to be recorded over a long time period to be able to actually give you information on how the bots are trading. Now, I don't know how transparent they're going to be with that stuff, but for a lot of people, that was one of the reasons for the FUD. Now, they have another YouTuber, or not they have, but there was another YouTuber. I'm sure everybody's aware if you're an Optimist, right? Or if you're invested into the project, that there was another YouTuber called Drew Wolfer that was saying some pretty slanderous stuff. And, you know, when people like call people out of their name and just genuinely or generally talk shit to people, there's no point in arguing with people like that. There's another guy on Chain Crypto that did the same stuff, and you would see like Brian Legend, the Seifu guy, and him get into it on lives and stuff like that. It's just like it just breeds more toxicity within the crypto and DeFi community. Like, sure, if you have concerns or qualms for specific projects and you feel like it's your duty to make sure that everybody else knows that, then put a video out. But try to make it as constructive as possible. There's no point in, like I said, calling people out of their name and just talking shit, which is wild to me. But this is the world that we live in, where everybody feels that if they have a platform, they can use it for whatever the F they want. And yeah. So obviously, through all those FUD attacks, there was some negative price action on OPT. However, they've recovered pretty nicely and have been sat around $1 for some time now, for the last couple of days. I believe last night it went down to like 97 cents. So I don't know if they're holding this floor at around $1 now, but it's been there steadily for the last couple of days. So pretty cool to see. When they had the AMA, it did spike up to like $1.11, $1.12, somewhere around there, and then kind of pulled back. But overall, I'm optimistic for Optimus, and hopefully they can further deliver on their promises to launch this wallet watcher with Truth Seekers. I know Truth Seekers just recently did their audit as well, I'm actually talking with Truth Seekers about some Dauntless stuff right now, but there's some alpha there. By the way, the Dauntless stuff should be ready to launch here very, very soon. We are just buttoning up some final tests with the contract and the front end of the actual website. We just want to make sure that it's all perfect, so that way we're not running into issues where we have to pause the minting or anything like that after we go ahead and start. The next project we're going to talk about is Prosperity Gem Mining, and this has been crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and claim now. Just let me switch my wallet back over. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and claim this $744. I don't know if I mentioned it last time in my last video, but so this Prosperity Gem Mining is kind of like the sister protocol to, I guess you could call it that, the sister protocol to crypto gem trading. That was the first contract that I developed. That I got my full $5,000 refund from that contract, and I was able to claim like every single day for like the past couple weeks, even having my refund. So that contract has gone to zero now, but that was what they were aiming to do. They've since moved everything over to Prosperity Gem Mining. As you can see here, I withdrawn $2,200 from my $4,000 initial deposit. We do have some referral rewards, so thank you guys for those of you that used my my referral link. If this is something that is extremely risky too, this is another ROI DApp. They boast that they can earn, or you can earn up to 2% per day. But it's been working for me. This was some risk capital that I had before the FTX stuff happened that I decided to throw in here. Like I said, it's been performing well for me. I know that there's a lot of other people in this project as well. We can go ahead and pull up the contract. So contract balance has $1.4 million in BUSD sitting in it. I do believe they also have this on Tron as well. So that's pretty cool too. So they've got quite the amount of money in there locked up into their contracts, which supposedly they're actively using it to mine crypto. I don't know how realistic that is or how any of that stuff works, so I can't really chime in too much or give any kind of professional opinion. All I know is that it's extremely risky. It's a gamble play for me that seems to be working out. So, but here's the thing: is that with these kind of very risky, high risk ROI platforms, is that the longer they go, it's almost like the inverse effect, right? The longer that these projects are around for, the more risky it gets, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're watching this video and you decide like, oh, well, this is something I want to check out, just know that it's been around for some time, and I would probably advise you not to get in this if you don't have any risk capital available to you, and you just, probably want to steer clear of it. And the same thing goes for this one too. So Automated BUSD Capital, this is an offshoot by another, like they just forked the crypto gem trading contract. They've added a couple of things to the dashboard here. But let me see, is this connected? So here you can see I have 2 deposits in. I put in the initial capital of $1,000. I took about $122 out, and I just compounded them. So that's what I'm doing there. With this one, I'm going to go ahead and start taking profits though, because like I said, the longer these types of projects are around, the more inherently risky that they start to get, right? So I know that there's a lot of people within my premium Discord server that are invested in this one, and I found out about it from them. So again, this is another one. Risk capital here is slightly less than it is over here, but I digress. So I mean, it's still paying out. They are using, I believe, Forex trading to generate these returns. This pays out 2% a day as well. So 502 overall users. Pretty cool so far to see. Now, moving over to WarFi. If you didn't catch my video about WarFi, I made a pretty in-depth review of their war bots. So those are very interesting. I'm going to be getting one and see how that goes as well, since, it's kind of similar to what we're doing with Dauntless. However, We don't have, with Dauntless, we don't have to worry about putting money on centralized exchanges. Everything is done through DEXs, which allows us to keep the funds in our own wallets that we only have access to. We don't have to worry about trying to rush and get them off exchanges, especially with everything that's going on right now. So, WarFi, I have my little army here. There you go. We have 101 pending rewards. So I'm going to go ahead and claim all of those right now as well. And again, I would say that I am more apt to take profits now than I had been typically in the past. Obviously, it was a big learning lesson for me when it comes to Horde. We'll talk about them specifically here in a second. They have a bunch of stuff going on. A lot of stuff in which I don't even understand. They had a vote where you could vote to... We'll go into that. But here with WarFi, you have the kill token, and the kill token is at $1.03, so it's still trading in the range. Everything looks good on that front. I think it trades between $1 and $1.10. So everything is looking good there. I have these 9 soldiers, and they're just continuing to print money for me, and I'm going to continue to claim, and we'll see how it goes. I do believe that they have this dog pack tent, which is something that is new, so I'm definitely going to start checking that out. But overall, been a pretty good experience with WarFi so far, and they've got a lot more coming. I know that they got a big partnership coming with Ambo. If you've heard about that, the Ambo pipeline, some crazy project with supposedly some real world utility. So that's definitely something I'm looking at checking out pretty soon. I listened to an AMA from Ambo in the Obsidian Council yesterday. That was quite interesting. And I believe that the Ambo pipeline guys are having their NFT mint today, so I might check that out as well. What else do we have? Horde. Let's look at Horde. I'm going to pull up this Discord announcement because they had this poll that was going on over the last couple of days. As you all know, Horde shut down all the contracts. Let me go ahead and pull mine up. So here's a snapshot of my Horde. I have 60 Horde tokens in the balance. I can claim 12. But I've mutated all of them. The only ones that are not mutated, obviously, are the ones that have the NFTs attached to them. But that doesn't really mean much based on what's going on here. So here's their poll. They wanted people to vote. Option A, there are currently 78,400 Horde tokens, or $7.4 million worth, to be claimed and sold if the contracts were to be resumed. And this number continues to go up every day by 3,400 tokens. We expect a mass sell-off, and anybody who is not holding any tokens will be left holding nothing. The option has been presented this option has been presented as it was the way the protocol was ran since its inception, and if the majority wishes to continue it this way, we will go forward with letting the protocol continue the way it started until it gets drained. Minus 77.5% of future DEX token supply vested over a 12-month period once the DEX is launched. And then they also have option B. So all the revenue generated from the Horde ecosystem, so that's the LMS, the game, the trading bots, the vaults, the DEX, and the launchpad, will be redistributed to the revenue share model. So 15% of future DEX token supply, 10% vested over a 6-month period, 5% over a 3-month period over the first anniversary of the DEX. All tokens vested once the DEX is launched. Non-ROI wallets will be prioritized and get the majority of DEX token prices, right? So lots of information here if you want to go ahead and go read through that. I voted for option B just because I believe that I believe in the Horde team. But I also this was a tough thing to choose because I also want to take my ROI. But in the reality of the situation, like I said, I believe in the Horde team, and I believe that the things that they have planned coming out in the future could do well for them. So I opted for plan B. Let me know in the comment section if you opted for plan B as well, or if you went the route of option A. So yeah, that is Horde. That is really everything that I wanted to talk about other than drip. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about drip real quick. So let's see where the price of drip is at. It's stuck at around $2. It's been hovering around there, going under $2. But really just around $2. And it's kind of comedic because a lot of the people that were so bullish on drip and everything, really have nothing to say at this point. Like, you could say, oh, well, just wait till Forex launches Scratchies. Well, we all know how Forex goes. We all know that it takes an extreme amount of time for him to do anything because he's probably a perfectionist and wants everything done to his standard, which I understand. But at some point, it has to be good enough and you have to be able to push those updates out. To be honest, when they first launched Animal Farm, it was hard to not see this coming because there was no actual emphasis on drip, really. And even though he's implemented certain things within Animal Farm to help bring buy pressure to drip, the way that I look at it is that there's so many whales with like sitting on massive amounts of tokens that if the price pumps at all, it's just going to be met with immediate sell-offs from bigger wallets that actually have control over the protocol, right? So. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. In my opinion, I think that we're probably going to see lower and lower numbers, and I don't think that it would be hard to see drip ever recover from where it's at right now. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section of this video. Other than that, guys, I think that's really everything that I wanted to talk about. I know this video is quite long, but these weekly videos are where we talk about a bunch of stuff. So that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to leave a comment down below, like the video, include your MetaMask wallet, and you'll be entered into next week's giveaway for $50 in BUSD.